Someone killed my parents.
Pardon me?
Someone killed my parents.
Were they shot?
Yes.
They were shot?
Yes.
It was hard to tell who had killed them, but when the truth came out, it was even harder to punish them.
The Menendez brothers' house right here. We're going to show you all of it. We're going to tell you all about it. It's going to be a great episode.
As I went into the room, I just started firing.
In what direction?
In front of me.
What was in front of you?
My parents.
This is where Lyle and Eric Menendez strolled right into their front door with the intent to kill their parents.
Why didn't you run away?
I wish that I could have. I tried to run away when I was 12, and my father found me and said, if you ever run away, I will find you and I will kill you.
Wealth, legacy, and violence, celebrity, and money converged in a very, very dramatic way.
My dad had been molesting me.
Well, right here in Beverly Hills, in this house behind me, wealth, legacy, and violence, celebrity, and money converged in a very, very dramatic way. This was not a robbery that took place behind me. No, this was a slaughter. And the killers were the last two people that really anyone expected. The two sons. Welcome everybody to a very special episode of One Degree of Scandalous. I'm Tom Zenner, right here on the Tom Zenner Scandal YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me, the one and only Kato Kaelin, as always, right here. Kato, we are continuing our tour of sites of the most famous, infamous crime scenes in Los Angeles, in the country, and this is another one on the A-list. The Menendez brothers' house right here. We're going to show you all of it. We're going to tell you all about it. It's going to be a great episode.
Yeah, you know, you said this. You could probably hear all the construction going on. Construction across the street. There's construction going on here in Elm Street, and it is a beautiful area. I was telling Tom, I was parked out in front here. In Beverly Hills, a lot of times there's tour buses, the celebrity buses they have, the TMZ buses. Twice they've had people pulling up right in front of the home. So this is obviously part of their tour. And you know, Tom, we know that Eric and Lyle, you know, trial, they had to go to prison, separated for 20 years. Now they're in the same prison together. But you know that it was first organized crime is what the police thought at first.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Organized crime, and this is where it is. You can see the area. Like I said, the construction, private property, and it's blocked off. It's a tourist site. It really is. Yep. It's a tourist site.
All right, you've seen Monsters on Netflix. You've seen the coverage on the news. 1989, August 20th, when this went down. First of all, George is with us today. George, I need a good day out of you today. Show this street. This is Elm Drive in Beverly Hills. Beautiful, Kato. This is a beautiful street. I live on Elm.
Oh, don't tell anybody.
I live on an Elm Street as well, which is
Street
crazy.
too.
You talk about a nightmare on Elm. It happened here
and Tom,
36 years ago.
This is the most affluent area too, if you can see. Everybody's walking, there are dogs, there's joggers going on. I mean, it's like a dream. People want to live here. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Just beautiful.
Okay, so Sunset Boulevard is over there. We're showing, this is a beautiful tree-lined street in Beverly Hills. This is an affluent area. I came down Sunset. I went, the Beverly Hills Hotel is about less than a mile, right there on Sunset. Bel Air, where Jennifer Aniston just had her house crashed into, is right over there. Over there is Century City in Beverly Hills, and we're gonna hit a lot of these key spots today. But let's walk over here, Kato, and let George come and just kind of show the house, because there's some sort of renovation going on right now.
And while George is doing that, Tom, the thing is, in this area, like you said, all the spots that we're gonna be hitting, they're all within close proximity of each other. And you got to imagine that Lyle and Eric are driving around, how they plan, how they're scoping out the movie theater, how they're scoping out the place they're going to have food. And it's like I said, it's all close proximity. It's just sort of, it's hard to have an eerie feeling around here, but I guess right here is where the eerie feeling would be. Because,
Here, so George, we're gonna have the house in behind us as we talk here. So Kato, they bought the guns, the shotguns in San Diego 2 days before the murders. Yep. They paid $214
20 gauge, right?
For the 12, I think
12 gauge.
I'm not a hunter, but these were shotguns. And the carnage that went on inside this house is indescribable. The parents, Kitty and Jose, were home. They were watching a movie, a James Bond movie. Wow. I don't know if it was A Time to Kill, but it was a James Bond movie. And this is the path right here, as we always show you. This is where Lyle and Eric Menendez, teenagers at the time, strolled right into their front door with the intent to kill their parents. Can you believe that?
Only because I'm a Bond fanatic, I'm going to say A Time to Kill is Matthew McConaughey. You're thinking of No Time to Die. I even do the old.
Thank you.
Yes.
When it comes to movie trivia, you got it.
I've got it. But getting back to this, Kitty and Jose was shot in the head, and Kitty was shot multiple times because she tried the first few shots. She tried to get away from the shooting, and then they blew her face. Detectives have said the face was totally blown off.
Yeah. George, pretend we're Lyle and Eric. I'll be Eric, you be Lyle.
Okay.
We're walking up here. Show our viewers what this would be like. Just if you see a little opening here or go above, show the house.
You can hear the pounding. It's totally. You can see the. George, you can actually even get a shot of the entryway. I'm gonna guide you here. You can see that the opened area is where the pool. That's the. You can raise a little shot here. You can see the entryway.
Did you get it? 9,000 square feet was the size of the house when the Menendez brothers lived here with their parents. And keep in mind, violent crime back then didn't happen in Beverly Hills. Murders in Beverly Hills. Now, a few years later, there'd be an even more famous case involving some murders near this area. But this was not normal. Beverly Hills Police Department detectives aren't used to these types of crime scenes because it was mass carnage, and that's why they initially thought it may have been a mob hit. And especially with Jose's connections, he's from Cuba, he was in the music industry, shady dude on a lot of levels, as we all know, led to abuse allegations by the sons. But man, when you're talking about Kato, blasting your dad in the back, your mom in the face with a shotgun, they came here with evil intentions, obviously. And I can't believe they had the guts to actually pull it out, to actually go through with it.
Well, and then of course we all know that I think Eric was the one with his therapist, with the girlfriend of the therapist, overhearing conversation, and that was admissible in court then, because normally it's client attorney, or not client doctor privileges. They said that was admissible by the judge, and you know, the resentencing hearing this is kind of bizarre. Tom, the resentencing of this Menendez brothers is supposed to be June 13th here in LA. And if June 13th rings a bell, it's because June 12th, 13th was the OJ murders. The OJ murdering, of course, beautiful two, Nicole and Ron. Yeah. So it's bizarre.
Ironic, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
The dates kind of converge. The 911 call. Now, these guys tried to think this through, right? They thought they had an alibi, and that's what we're going to show you. We're going to show a couple of spots they went to cover their tracks, because they weren't as smart as they thought they were, and they made some mistakes, even though it took a while for them to be convicted, and even a few months before they were arrested. 911 call came at 11:47 p.m., right? So when they realized that the cops weren't here after killing them, you know, that's when they made that kind of grief-stricken 911 call, and then it was on Kato. Can you imagine what's going through a killer's mind like that? You've just butchered your parents. Okay, now you got to be thinking, did we make a mistake? Are we going to get caught? How do we lie our way through this? There's a lot of things that have to fall into place to get away with this.
And it's bizarre is that Lyle's 21, Eric is 18-year-old kid. And that's why he's seeking therapy. I mean, he has to see a therapist. It just blew his mind. I think that any 18-year-old, I still can't believe he was kind of weak from the whole thing of, he shot his parents, shot his mom, and they both had to do it together, so.
Yeah, the reality had to be sinking in at that point. Can you imagine walking back in there and realizing what you've done? And yeah, I mean, there's multiple theories. Did they do it for the money, right? Were they abused? Maybe we don't discuss all of that right now because we have another episode coming up next week that's going to dive into that. But, my God, I mean, you have to be one greedy, like sadistic SOB, Kato, to take out your parents for an inheritance of a few $1 million? Because back then we're not talking hundreds of millions or $1 billion here. We're talking about multiple millions. Well, and they spent some of it right away. We'll show you some of the spots.
Well, not only that, but there was no grief really. Detectives start noticing no grief by this. Lyle goes out and buy a Porsche, and Eric hires a private coach for tennis and starts traveling the world. Yeah, it's just like all these things of a stupidity of guys that committed a crime and just wanted the money.
Kato, George, come over here. Let's show the street number, okay? Because 722, this is a very, very famous address right here, Kato.
Yeah.
It's worn off a little bit. Just think the police cars, just think the media attention that this street had.
Well, just in the time that you and I have been talking, 2 security patrol cars have gone by already. Yeah. So it's heavy patrolled here. Yeah. And everybody's got a private security sign in front of their yards.
Yeah. A gorgeous day today. May in Los Angeles, not too hot yet. Here's the other thing I think about Kato, is when there's 2 people involved, and one is the stronger older brother like Lyle, You gotta hope you're both in sync with carrying this through, because one mistake, which did happen, takes you down and puts you in prison for life. So could you imagine? I mean, I would have the fear, the nerves that they must have had, thinking, do we have our story straight? Are we consistent? And they tried to create these alibis, which we're going to take you to, but they didn't work at the end.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like I said, Eric's the younger one, and we saw the Netflix series. He's the one that just kind of freaked out, and he couldn't control it anymore. Yeah. Had to see a therapist, and so it was the whole thing that went on.
Yeah.
And like I said, you can
George,
see there's another
Beverly Hills
police car. It's just like I said, heavily patrolled, and this is early morning, so you can see that it's heavily morning, and like I said, the affluent area, Range Rovers everywhere.
It's funny because these are the types of areas that do get traffic, right? I mean, even though this was 36 years ago, there's people that still come by here. We're here today. We're going to all the big sites. But man, if you're a neighbor, if you live in this neighborhood, you're just going to have to deal with it, right? You signed up for this. When you're in Los Angeles, you never know who you might have as a next door neighbor or what the history of your house might be. But I don't think, if you're going to get all uptight about tourists coming by, the celebrity sightseeing tours coming by, or Kato and I coming by.
You chose
this ain't the right neighborhood for you, right?
You chose to live here, as you said.
Yeah. Well, this is meticulous. This is beautiful. I mean, these houses have been around a very long time. This house was built in the 20s, I think. This is an old house. So this has been around, obviously renovated.
Yeah.
It's been resold a number of times, and most of the time at a loss. I think the most recent sale was like between 14 and 17 million. But this is where it started, August 20th, 1989, Lyle and Eric Menendez, Jose Hernandez, the dad, hot-tempered. Was he abusive? Maybe. We'll talk about that more in this episode. Kitty, the mom, how much did she know?
And the arrest didn't take place, get this now, till March of 1990. So they're living a great life up until then. And then they know the whatever hit the fan.
Yeah.
So,
all right, so the murders happen. They've got to carry through with this story that they didn't do it. And what do? They start shopping. All right, so we're going to take you to a couple of those spots. We're also going to take you to a couple scenes of their alibis. You ready?
You know what, though? I'm going to try something different. If he says no, he says no. I'm going to ask him if he's just doing construction on the house. If it's up for sale, come follow me.
Who would say no to Kato Kaelin?
We're going to find out.
Watch this.
Is the house is it going to be for sale? A walkthrough for real estate soon? Is it no one living there yet, huh? All right. Lots of traffic though, huh? Yeah. I won't bother you anymore. I see you're busy.
Ask him if he knows what happened here, Kato.
You obviously know what happened here, right? Okay.
Any ghosts?
Well, we'll see you. Thank you very much.
Kato's got that charm, man. Well done.
He's texting someone, probably the police department.
All right, so the Menendez brothers are sitting in prison right now. They're hoping to get out. They're in San Diego. This is a very crucial next few months because their fate is in the hands of the new district attorney in Los Angeles, Nathan Hochman. All right, and that might not be the best of news for them because this guy's actually tough on crime. If Soros was still here...
He doesn't want to. He doesn't want the resentencing at all.
Yeah.
So the judge rules, so the resentencing is going to be, like I said, June 13th, supposed to be. But it's been rescheduled a few times. Hochman is 100% says they're convicted, they should have their life sentences with no parole.
Yep, okay, and I was starting to say, if Soros was still here funding the old DA, Gascon, right, it may have been a different story. But we're heading out to a couple other scenes right here in Beverly Hills. Come on with us. This is a fascinating tour of the Menendez brothers killings.
We're asking just certain people, there's a resentencing. Do you know what happened in this house?
Oh yeah, apparently got blasted.
Yeah.
That's right.
I was just wondering, because you guys are working in this house or that house?
This one.
Oh, you're actually
working on construction?
Yeah, we did the framing. And...
Any ghosts?
Yeah, can I put, by the way, you okay to put you on camera?
No, you're good, you're good. It's
okay,
man.
you can talk louder into my mic when you say it. So you're doing the construction right now, the house?
Yeah, so we're doing all the framing. Pretty much the house is gutted. House got gutted probably like a year or 2 years ago.
Right.
Got completely gutted, framed everything else, brand new. As far as goes, for us, we're here in the middle of the day, so there's not much. But the guys here at night.
Right, so
do they actually say something like there's an eerie vibe?
Yeah. So
for real, your guys have told you that?
Yeah. Well, the guys that are in there right now, they're here most of the time pretty late because of their work is pretty silent.
Right.
So they're electricians. They just cut. If you go downstairs, they say they get an eerie feeling. If you walk around sometimes by yourself, you'll hear like a couple like random knocks. There's like the random knocks from the wood.
As long as you have random gunshots.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No, but that's
That's
unbelievable
bizarre.
because they actually told you that they can sense something, feel something, or hear something
well,
in
we were
there.
here yesterday until like 5:30, and it just feels weird, man.
It does, to know. So when you guys work in there, do you go, hey, you say to your buddy, hey, this is the room where it happened? It's gutted out now, but it's
morning.
It's right in the front foyer, right?
Yeah, every morning we tell them, I'm like, hey, this is where the guys got blasted.
I mean, that was nasty too, man. True Brothers, did you watch it on
Did you see the
Netflix?
Netflix show?
Crime scene, like the pictures, it's pretty bad.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think those boys were abused and they had a reason to kill their parents? Or do you think they were doing it for the money?
Nah, I mean, 50-50.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 50-50. I mean,
they bought a car, you bought a Porsche right after.
Like Rolex.
Oh yeah, we're heading there next to Rodeo Drive, and we're gonna go to the theater there. What's your name?
Tony.
Tony, man, you were great. Thank you so much.
Hey, Tony, I'll do both, baby. Yeah, the fist bump.
Hey.
So Tony, we have permission to put you on our show.
Yeah, you already said yeah. Hey Tony, I'm gonna give you my number. If you see any ghosts, get some pictures and send them to me, okay, my man?
Trust me, I'm in there all the time, but I'm trying to get by myself, and it's like.
Tony,
it's crazy.
Would you stay 2 nights here alone for $10,000?
I'll do it for free.
Why not, right?
I love it.
Beverly Hills, baby. It's Beverly Hills.
I love it. All right, his buddy took off because he was scared, but Tony's a trooper, baby. Tony came by, baby. Love it.
All right, Tony. Thanks, my man. We're heading off to next spot is alibi scene number 1. All right. Well, this movie theater was supposed to be the brothers' escape hatch, an alibi bought with 2 movie tickets to Batman. But instead, timestamps don't lie, Kato, and neither did Eric eventually when he started talking. We are now in front of the theater the Menendez brothers went to immediately after committing the crime, thinking that they could set up an alibi.
Timeline. Everything's always timeline, everybody. So this is where it is, and I'm actually going to take a chance here, and I'm going to go into the theater.
Well, hang on one second. Go buy a ticket for, it looks like Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. We're at the Century City Mall, Westfield. This mall went under a huge renovation about 4 or 5 years ago. My opinion, best mall in LA, outdoor. These theaters are awesome. This is the last place I went to a movie in person in 2019, Kato. I saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. The last time I've been in a movie theater. Do you go to movies?
I actually saw it in a theater Once Upon a Time in Hollywood also. Somewhere near where I live, though. But this is the theater where I used to live in this area. This is the place, this is the mall I used to go to consistently, walking around. And it was back in the 90s, the whole, the Menendez were going there in the 80s, obviously. But this is like, it was a big haven at that age to pick up women. It was it. It was the place to go.
No doubt.
Everybody would come here. And as you know, Tom, now, this is just like the most elite looking mall ever. Every 5-star restaurant and this place with you can order drinks at your seats. So it's like I said, this is the beautiful Westfield Mall here in Century City.
Yeah. So this is where the Menendez brothers came. Now, they had to activate their plan as soon as these gruesome murders occurred, where they butchered their parents in Beverly Hills. This is where they came. It really shows that they were thinking ahead, right? That they wanted to come up with an alibi.
I'm thinking, Tom, that if you're Eric and at 18 and Lila at 21, that there's talking, are you sure you're going to do this? Are you sure? And I would think that the one's going to go, don't wimp out on me, because they're going to murder their parents. Mm-hmm. So
right. And then Batman was that big movie. Michael Keaton was in it. Danny DeVito, 1989, the first of the Batman movies. Pretty good. I liked it. You didn't like it that much? I liked it.
Kim Basinger was, I think, the female lead.
No, I liked it. So that was a big movie that summer. They came here. They thought, okay, we're going to show that we were at the movies when the murders occurred. Problem, timestamp, right? You can't come here because forensics and seasoned detectives and coroners can determine the time of death, right? Problem for the Menendez brothers. So they tried to use that for their alibi, and then they got rid of it, which kind of showed that they were maybe getting rid of evidence or, clearing up their tracks. But this is where they came. Put yourself in the mindset as they're walking into this theater, Kato, where they're thinking, okay, did this really happen? Okay, let's get the ticket. Okay, now what? Oh my God, the timestamp. What do we do next, right?
Not only that, Tom, they're also thinking, we better know everything about this movie.
Right.
They got to know everything about it. They can't just say they went to the movie. They're going to say, well, what happened in this film? They got to know exactly what happened in this film and who the Batman was.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
All right.
Like I said, this is...
Kato, we have people all around the world that watch this show. If you come to LA, George, show them the mall a little bit. Do a little panorama. Beautiful. I mean, this is awesome. It's got an Equinox gym, great restaurants attached to it, 14 theaters over here, including IMAX with Tom Cruise and the new Mission Impossible. The Final Reckoning. God, I can't believe he's 60-something.
Tom is good. Not Tom Cruise. Tom Zenner is going to chicken out, but I'm going to walk into the theater.
Are you? Okay, no, hang on. So we're after this. Well, let's get in the mind of the Menendez brothers. So they get the timestamp on the ticket, thinking, uh-oh, problem. So what do they do next? They're going where we're going next. So that's where we're going to go. But before that, before we leave the Westfield Mall here in Century City, where the Menendez brothers tried to cover their tracks by buying a ticket to the movie Batman, Kato is going to retrace those steps and walk in there, okay? And it's always an adventure with Kato. So Kato, go.
I'll see if I can buy a ticket.
Maybe they sold the ticket in 1989.
I'm going to ask
if they're really old, ask them.
I'm going to ask if they're showing that film Batman. Are you showing Batman at all?
No.
The Batman, it's a revival of the 1989 Batman? Isn't this?
Not today.
They want Michael Keaton.
Yes, we're not playing it today, though.
So there's a revival. I'm at the right place.
These are all the shows that we're playing for tonight. It could be on a different day.
Okay, I'll take a look. Thanks, Steve. So now we know Batman is not going to be playing here from 1989. What can I do? I tried, but I will see Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible 17.
All right, while their parents lay butchered in Beverly Hills, the Menendez brothers came here to eat, drink, be seen, look like they're engaging with the crowd. Now, this wasn't panic by the Menendez brothers. This was part of their plan. Kato,
Right.
This is the site of the LA Food Festival in 1989. Okay, August, summer, festivals are happening. This is Santa Monica. We're in the heart of Santa Monica. The ocean's right over there. We're going to show you around a little bit, but this is where they came after the movie theater, realizing that timestamp wasn't going to help them. They got to be seen, right? They got to be out so people, are called as witnesses. Yeah, they were there having a good time.
Right.
They didn't look like they just murdered their parents.
Completely premeditated. Like you said, they had the mastermind plan to do all this stuff to actually come here in Santa Monica. And by the way, Tom, I've actually been to this event, not that event where they were at. There, I was in the 90s. I used to come down here. So, it is actually a place to be seen. They knew it was Sunday. They knew our drive here, getting from the movie theater afternoon, took us 45 minutes at least. So they knew there'd be no traffic. They had like I said, they had it perfectly planned.
Mm-hmm. So this is the Civic Plaza area. A lot of government buildings here, police, court building not far from here where the OJ civil trial was, where the criminal trial probably should have been, right here in the heart of Santa Monica.
Supposed to be.
This is the building. Obviously, it looks pretty rough right now. A lot of parts of Santa Monica look rough right now. This is a interesting time the last 7, 8, 9, 10 years here in Santa Monica.
So
this used to be so beautiful, and they're just letting it go, which is insane. But community park over here. So, Kato, this is it, man. Just like these other sites that we've toured, Menendez, Charles Manson, these are the steps that killers walked.
Well, you know what's, you think about this, that Nathan Hochman, the new district attorney in Los Angeles, he knows all this information of the whole being premeditated. He doesn't want these guys to be resentenced. He wants them to serve their life without parole. Yeah. And we don't know all the stuff that's in the court document. We saw what was on TV, and the first trial was televised. We got a mistrial. The second trial, they're convicted. But there's so much they prove it was premeditated, and with premeditation, you get life without parole.
Yeah, so let's just walk around. You can imagine, it's early evening, 1989, fun crowd out here. You got the ocean breezes, probably a warm day. Menendez brothers, they recreated it in Monsters on Netflix. They were out there, but could you act inconspicuous and act like you're having a good time if you just pulled off a double homicide at your house in Beverly Hills and the victims were your parents?
I was just going to ask you, they come from wealth. Here you are, 21 and 18. How do you convince someone to kill? And they're not dumb. They're smart, and they come, like I said, it's a affluent family. What goes through your mind? Is it really? I don't know the thing about the father molesting him or whatever, but how do you actually come up with a plan? The plan itself is just, it kind of says guilty right there.
George, walk around with us. We'll just kind of stroll the area as we do this. Here's how I look at it. Lyle is a dominating personality. Yeah. I could see him, Eric's a more sensitive one. I can see him talking Eric into something. But that's why I'm led to believe that maybe there was some abuse going on, because I just don't know if you could pump multiple shots of a shotgun into your parents just for money.
Well,
I mean, unless they thought they were going to get cut out of the will. George, go ahead and just show the area.
I think, Tom, I think you could plant that seed, Lyle, into Eric's mind, possibly. You know, there's got to be some kind of reasoning to do it. There's got to be some sort of reasoning for them to do that.
Right.
And it just doesn't. Can you imagine that had they known that they're going to have their life in jail the rest of the day? I think you can't. You know, you're young. You're 18 and 21. You don't think that way. You're kind of thinking, I'm immortal.
Yeah.
But
we'll walk this way. So these are the steps, obviously, so you can see where the Menendez brothers were.
And so what they do, Tom, also they set up little tables here. You can get sample
George,
food,
give it a shot.
And then inside there'd be tables in all the best restaurants in Beverly Hills, best restaurants of Santa Monica, and it's a huge thing. Yeah, and it was a place to be seen.
Yeah, it's great marketing for the restaurants and the chefs. Get a taste of it. I mean, these are fun. I've been to many of these. They have them all over LA every year. I'm sure every city that people are watching this in, they have them as well. Yeah. But this clearly shows this was premeditated, like there wasn't any doubt. But they're thinking of an alibi. They wanted to be seen in public, looking like they were having a good time, like they were just out enjoying the LA Food Festival in 1989. And then, you know, the whole series of events would continue, because when they go back there to the house, they realize no police were there. That's when they call 911 at 9:47 p.m. And then
I think this time also, correct, I could be wrong, I think the shotgun is in the trunk at this time too.
Could be.
I think so. And they talk about not putting away the evidence.
Yeah, so food festival, they're out and about, they go back to the house, they call 911, they got to stage this thing, got to make it seem like they just saw it. Did you practice that? I would imagine you have to practice that, right?
It's like
I can't believe it, right?
Oh my God.
You fake that? Are they that good of actors?
It's the scene in Fargo. It's William Macy making the call before the call. And you see the camera shot, you hear a voice going, I can't believe it. Then you see that he's practicing his lines, which I bet you they did that exact thing.
Probably. This was shut down in 2013 as far as being the Civic Auditorium here. But a lot of stuff, you know, here in Santa Monica, there's a big homeless problem here. You know, it used to be a great spot, the promenade, 3rd Street Promenade.
Look at this building. It looks like the Coliseum. It's beautiful, actually. Yeah. All these buildings are gorgeous.
Yeah.
The park, but...
And then, George, if you could just scan, Kato and I, we were driving on Santa Monica Boulevard on the way over here. We drove past Bundy. We drove past the McDonald's Kato and OJ went with. We just drove past the courthouse where the civil trial was. So Santa Monica, this is a you know, a spot where a lot of history in LA has happened, you know, good, bad, and ugly.
What I think about in our show, I always think about this. We talk about true crime, but it's amazing how much true crime that we talk about. It's always the rich. It seems like it's the affluent, the Wonderland murders up in the hills, the Menendez, Beverly Hills, OJ, Brentwood. It's always these places that
Manson.
are... Yeah, Manson, right. Mm-hmm. It's all these places that are... good.
And that's when you have the great stories, and that's what everybody's interested in. You know, the wealth, the affluence, the luxury.
How are they going to screw up?
Right, sort of? But they commit crimes too.
Right,
as we know,
big crimes.
All right, so we're going to go to one more spot, and we're going to go on Rodeo Drive, where it was time to start spending some of that money. These brothers didn't waste any time enjoying the benefits of their parents being dead.
You know, earlier we talked to Tony at the house. Tony had just said, I said, are you familiar with what Lyle did immediately? He goes, yeah, the dude that bought 17 Rolexes. So everybody's aware that's the worst thing you can do is buy. Then he buys a Porsche. So we're going to go to Rodeo Drive. Tom, can you buy me a watch?
Well, let's see. I thought you were going to ask me to buy you a Porsche. But yeah, let's we're going down to Rodeo Drive. Plus, we're going to update you on the latest with the case, like the key dates that they're hoping will go in their favor to potentially get released, maybe not. The other thing is we're going to tie in this incredible O.J. Simpson convergence into this story, because there are some unbelievable facts and details of the history of the Menendez brothers and O.J. Simpson and their family and how they've crossed paths over the years. It's fascinating. So we're heading to our next spot. All right, we are on the world-famous Rodeo Drive, where the Menendez brothers came to sparkle. All right, so while sheriffs and detectives were looking at shell casings at the family home, these guys were trying on Rolexes. In mourning? Nah, not really. They were shopping, and this is where they came. Rodeo Drive, Beverly, to the fine stores here, the jewelry stores, clothing stores. They bought a Porsche at the Porsche dealership here in Beverly. By the way, this is Louis Vuitton. This is where Kato's, for every major holiday, looking up his wife.
I go to Marshall's. Hey, listen though, Tom, seriously. The thing is, remember we met with Tony before earlier in the show. this is what the first thing he noticed was that Menendez brothers went and they bought 17 Rolexes. The worst thing they could do, like Tom said, they're in mourning. I don't think so. They had till March 1990 when they got arrested. So they did everything wrong. You don't go shopping and everything else, but that's what they did. But
yeah, this is
look
it.
at this. This is like the area once again to be seen.
Yeah, so tourists, you know, we'll show you the scene here. This is Rodeo, Beverly Wilshire, right over there. George, show them the Beverly Wilshire. That's Pretty Woman, the Pretty Woman Hotel right over there. There's a Four Seasons now. Louis Vuitton, all the major brands are here. You know, it's funny because Tony knew about the shopping spree, right? Everybody pretty much did. I don't know how many watches it was. A $15,000 Rolex. They bought tons of clothes. Patek Philippe. You know, they were hitting the good spots, man, and living the high life and trading in their vehicles for luxury rides. The Porsche, I think he spent $65,000 for that.
Tennis wear, Dolce & Gabbana,
yeah,
everything, all the high end of everything they bought because they got rolling in the cash.
Yeah. So keep in mind, this all had to play along with what they thought they were getting away with. So what's in their mind as they're shopping here? Because the clerks, the stores, they're going to remember these guys, right? When the detectives come back to talk to them, they'll trace where they bought this from, what they spent the money on.
Right.
And it's not exactly painting a picture of two brothers that were missing their parents that much. No, they wanted their hands on that money. At least that was part of it, probably.
I think he bought, I think Lyle, if I remember, bought also diamond ring for a girl or a necklace. But he's buying everything. They got a lot of money to do this sort of thing. So
invested in a restaurant in Syracuse, New York, in a Buffalo Wings restaurant. They were not thinking, at this point, this is pre-arrest, obviously, they are not thinking that they're going to be arrested. They probably thought they got away with this. You know, as these months go on, or at least there was enough doubt where maybe they wouldn't be incriminated in it.
Let me ask you, Tom, if you're a friend of Lyle and Eric at that time, and you see that they're buying, wouldn't you be the friend that would say, you guys, your parents just passed away. Why are you doing this? Isn't that something
yes.
you would do? You would say
that's what a normal person would say, but the Menendez
friend.
brothers aren't normal, right? So if they thought it was, you know, a good plan to kill their parents, they're probably not taking sage advice from their friends, right?
I was just going to say, because
if they had any good counsel, they would have learned that. You know, I had mentioned at our last stop, Kato, of all the similarities with the O.J. Simpson, right? And George, we can maybe just walk around a little bit. Maybe Kato and I will take a stroll up here because this is a very famous walkway too. So Jose Menendez, Kato, we all know he was a music executive with RCA, discovered a lot of popular bands back in the day, but he also was a Hertz executive for years, right? And he had O.J. Simpson over to the house for dinner. So the boys had met him.
Well, the boys also met him in prison.
Yep.
Because he was also in the same prison in the beginning with O.J.
Yeah.
So, you know, the more things change, the more they are the same. It's sort of a circle, and they meet up again under different circumstances.
Yeah, the Menendez brothers, and George, you can feel free to maybe get a little of the area here. We've got Dolce & Gabbana here. George, if you were nice, maybe you could think about getting something for your girlfriend, you know, maybe picking her up a little something down here. A couple other interesting facts. The Menendez brothers kind of gave O.J. Simpson advice in prison. They said when he was brought in there, they were watching the Bronco chase, and then Eric was told to clean up that cell. So he had to clean up the cell that O.J. eventually came in. He said he came in there, they had like 15 sheriffs and detectives when they brought O.J. in. They talked to him a lot. They thought he was delusional. He thought he was getting out in about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Lyle talked to him about his attorney. Robert Shapiro said he feared that Robert Shapiro wouldn't let O.J. tell the truth. They were also asked if they thought that they were guilty, if they thought O.J. was guilty. They said absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But O.J. got out. He's acquitted, so they reasonable doubt. So Leslie Abramson, the lawyer for the Menendez, got the mistrial at the first, and then we found out, you know, that they're convicted. So things didn't go well for the Menendez. And now today, Tom, as you know, I mentioned earlier, they wanted a resentencing trial. They also wanted to get a complete new trial, but I think the smart move will be to get resentenced because of time served.
Yeah.
And will it happen? I think you think it will. I think it won't.
I don't know if I think it will anymore with when I'm following Nathan, the new DA's moves. I don't think so, man. He's in no hurry to let these guys out. I don't think he wants to commit a lot of resources to this thing with a new trial. Now, what they got to hope for is that they, you know, time served, right? And they could get out if they scale this down to a misdemeanor of some sort. But anyway, we'll keep you updated on that because we're going to have more guests on this story. One more thing I was going to say about the Menendez brothers and OJ is they knew after OJ got off after he was acquitted that it was going to make it a lot tougher for them because they thought there would be payback with celebrities. It would make people pay going forward. So they thought that was a real hindrance in their trial.
And it was.
Yeah, it was.
It was a hindrance because someone's got to be the poster child. They're not going to get out. And it's sort of L.A., I know it from a fact of what it was like, and I was just a witness in trial, how there was love and hate. So people would either love or hate you. And I even have a story when I was driving a convertible of someone just spitting on me. I was accessible because it was the hottest, heated time in Los Angeles. But our show is in June, which is coming right up. We're going to find out if there's going to be resentencing. Yeah. I think it's going to be pushed back again. It keeps getting pushed back. Yeah.
Kato, this is one that I find just crazy, is they were spending the money, and including they bought tickets to courtside seats at a Laker game at the Forum.
I remember that.
And they're sitting there, and there's a photo of Mark Jackson, who was playing for the Knicks. Really good player, ended up being an NBA coach, announcer for ESPN and ABC. And the Menendez brothers were sitting right there.
Right.
So so that was part of a trading card. We'll show you the picture. But that increased the value of it big time once that was determined, once people figured out that was the Menendez brothers sitting right there.
That's amazing. Can we get a picture of that card?
Oh, no, I'm going to throw it up there.
Oh.
Here's another thing. At the funeral, this is how cheesy these brothers were, though, if you think about it. What song did they play? They were at the... Okay, so the funeral for the parents.
Right.
Guess what song the brothers chose to play?
I don't know the answer, but I'm guessing that, first of all, if it was something from Jose's company, RCA, and you're saying what song did they play for the mom, the way you're asking the question, it's got to be something that's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
Menudo wasn't out, right?
No,
like
it wasn't Menudo. Good guess. No, you're very close. It was Milli Vanilli.
Oh, wow.
The song was Girl, I'm Gonna Miss You.
I can't believe it. A lip sync song?
Well, that's another story. But that was a Milli Vanilli.
Milli Vanilli.
Flash in the pan in the 80s. And it was exposed that they were lip syncing their songs. But I remember that song. I mean, they had tons of hits, including that one. To play that at the funeral of your mom, who you killed, and everybody knows you did,
right?
Tacky, to say the least.
You know, the thing is, I think the whole way they got caught, part of the way they got caught is because of Eric, the younger one at 18. He just couldn't live with himself anymore. So he broke down, and I think that kind of opened the door with the analyst, a psychoanalyst, a psychiatrist, and everything kind of spiraled down for them.
Yeah, well, we talk about it all the time. You pull that one thread, and it all gets revealed.
And they knew it was going to happen, though.
Yeah,
they knew there's no way they're going to get away with it.
And where there's something this dramatic, where you kill two people in Beverly Hills, one is a prominent person in the music industry. This is going to get attention. They're going to want to solve that crime, so they're not going to give up. And then it all started to unravel, of course, when Eric spoke to the therapist. That was recorded, and then the girlfriend of that therapist found the tape, and the rest is history. And that was over for them.
Well, the Menendez brothers are thinking in the beginning that it was organized crime, and they're just saying, thank God, don't worry, they're going to think it's going to be a mafia-related organized crime hit. But like Tom said, it just unraveled, and here we are waiting. They're waiting for the resentencing.
Yeah, I always just love the psychiatry of this, and when the brothers know that it's probably slipping away, where they're thinking about the mistakes that they made and how it's going to come back to haunt them, and wishing they had a few things to do over. Did they regret killing their parents? Number one, did they? Number two, what are you feeling like, and how do you keep your story straight with two brothers?
Right.
You know, Lyle, I could see it. He's the more dominating of the one, but Eric's a little more sensitive. The younger brother, can't you just feel the drama of knowing, oh my God, we shouldn't have gone shopping. We shouldn't have bought that Porsche. It was too obvious. And then Eric, is at that tennis tournament in Israel when he comes back and finally gets arrested in March.
Well, they're separated also. You got to be wondering what one brother is saying about the other brother and all that. And so it's sort of like the detectives know what they're doing to interrogate them, what they can get. And the detectives know immediately the weak one is Eric. The younger one is the weak one. And so they focus it on that. And sure enough, he broke down.
Yep. And it all happened right around here. Rodeo Drive, Elm Avenue. The house is up that way straight. If you just go on Rodeo, you're going to run into the Beverly Hills Hotel. It's going to be really close to the house that we already visited. The Porsche dealership is a few blocks away. A jewelry shop that they probably hit is not that far away.
Yeah.
And of course, we were in Santa Monica and the AMC theaters in Century City. So I hope you enjoyed this tour, everybody.
You know what? I think we should call it, not only are we 1 degree of scandalous, but Remember the old Robin Leach lifestyles of the rich and famous?
Yeah.
This is definitely the lifestyles of the, I guess, deceitful and murderous.
Yes, Kato.
Am I right?
That's exactly right.
I think it's a TV show.
Okay, George, show them the scene. Just kind of give them a little. We'll start wrapping this up, and then you can come back over here. But just give them a little view of Rodeo. You know, we got Wilshire over there. You can maybe one more peek at the Beverly Wilshire, George. Where, you know, don't be going over looking for a pretty woman, George. Okay, the movie's not. That was fiction. All right.
Hey, what's up? How you doing, man? Good to see you.
All right, George. Good job. Okay, so I'm going to remind everybody, drop your comments in. What sites should we visit next? We're hitting all the big ones. We got some big stuff coming up this summer. Make sure you listen to our audio podcast. I'm going to drop the link into my new book, which is out with John Wilson, all about the Varsity Blues recruiting scandal, the scandal within the scandal. It's an incredible book.
And the people on Instagram have been hinting to me to do they said, Kato, why don't you do the restaurant Robert Blake at? Why don't you do Robert Blake stories? That's out in Hidden Hills, Calabasas, where the Kardashians used to live. So there's a lot going on there, and also Wonderland. So a lot of people thank you for leaving me messages on Instagram. And we're going to cover everything. It's Tom and I. We thank you for taking the tour with us.
Yep. I hope you enjoyed it, everybody. I'm sure if we made any factual errors, you'll correct us here.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, George, I got to tell you, you got a lot of fans, man. They're like, oh, stop picking on George. Don't be so rough on George.
They think George rooms at Zeus.
Hey, let me tell you something, George. Don't start slacking. Couple things today. Number one, Kato, when we stopped to get a drink, because George was thirsty, we stopped, we get a drink. I asked for a Diet Coke, then he asked for one.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah,
we were going to have to fight over that Diet Coke.
I was going to get one, but I decided just to go with the Gatorade.
And then you're getting all demanding with your organic
Gatorade.
Zero Gatorade. And George, one other thing too. You were complaining about the windows in my car as we were trying to get video of Rodeo Drive. George, we're going to have a little talk after this. Good job, but we're going to have a conversation. All your fans out there, George, I'm sure they're going to stick up for you right now. Yeah. Kato, what do you got going on right now? George, we love you. You know that. Okay.
Yeah, I talked to one of your fan. Your fan. Anyways, I kid, George. Kato, what am I going to do? You know my whole life. I'm going to be doing a little documentary again. You know what? Our show hits internationally. I'm going to have a phone call with Germany right after the show and do a show with them. So it's all cool.
All right, so make sure you listen to our audio podcast. Follow us on social media. We'll let you know what the next tour is. We're going to 2 episodes per week. Gil Carrillo and Tom Lang coming back in the studio in the next 2 weeks. A lot of cases to cover. Hope you enjoyed the tour of the Menendez sites right here in Beverly Hills, California. For the one and only.
Let's go shopping.
Kato Kaelin and George, who I let come on our journey today. I'm Tom Zenner.
I'm Kato Kaelin. Let's go shopping, man.
Let's go shopping because we will see you very, very soon.